Comrades, we must defend our country against imperialism. The only organization that is hated by imperialists is the EFF. I will never be intimidated by America. I will never be intimidated by Donald Trump.
This is the Voice of Africa News.
Welcome to Voice of Africa News, your trusted source for accurate and up-to-date news from across the continent. If you're visiting us for the first time, please share, and subscribe to stay informed and connected to the real stories shaping Africa. Your support helps keep our voice strong. Disclaimer: the content in this video is based on credible, publicly available sources, official statements, and other verified online materials. It is meant for educational, informational, and analytical purposes only. We do not promote hate, violence, misinformation, or political unrest. Our goal is to provide meaningful insight into current events, highlight local perspectives, and encourage informed discussion throughout Africa. In a development that has ignited fierce political debate both at home and abroad, Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF. Leader Julius Malema has stunned South African President Cyril Ramaphosa and former U.S. President Donald Trump with a fiery declaration that many are calling a turning point in South Africa's political discourse. Speaking at a packed EFF rally in Johannesburg on Saturday, Malema electrified his supporters by issuing a sweeping call for the immediate nationalization of land, mines, banks, and other critical sectors of the South African economy without compensation. The crowd erupted as Malema declared, "The time for negotiation is over. We are not asking anymore. We are taking what belongs to the people. We want the land back, the minerals back, the wealth back, and we want it now." His comments come at a tense moment for South Africa, where frustrations over economic inequality, unemployment, and land ownership remain deeply entrenched nearly 3 decades after the end of apartheid. Malema's bold stance reignites the debate around land reform, a sensitive and divisive issue that has long simmered beneath the surface of mainstream politics. Sources within the presidency suggest President Ramaphosa and his advisors were caught off guard by the intensity and timing of Malema's remarks. The government has previously supported land reform within the framework of the Constitution, emphasizing stability and economic growth. However, Malema's rhetoric and rejection of gradual reform have placed mounting pressure on Ramaphosa to defend his approach or risk being outflanked by the EFF's growing popularity among young, disillusioned voters. International reaction was swift and pointed. Within hours of Malema's speech, Donald Trump responded with a sharply worded post on his social media platform, calling Malema a dangerous Marxist who will turn South Africa into another failed state. Trump, who previously drew criticism for comments about South African land reform in 2018, reignited global attention on the issue by accusing the EFF leader of inciting chaos and lawlessness. Malema, undeterred by Trump's remarks, fired back during a follow-up interview with a local broadcaster. "Trump is a clown," he said. "He must worry about his court cases and stop interfering in African affairs. South Africa belongs to South Africans, not to imperialists or their agents." Reactions across South Africa have been mixed. EFF supporters praise Malema's remarks as courageous and long overdue. "He speaks truth to power," said one rallygoer. "For too long, we've been patient while nothing changes. Now it's time to act." Critics, however, warn that such radical policies could damage investor confidence, destabilize the economy, and trigger a flight of capital. Political analysts say Malema's announcement marks a significant escalation in the EFF strategy ahead of next year's national elections. With unemployment still above 30% and poverty widespread, Malema's message is likely to resonate with many South Africans who feel left behind in the post-apartheid era. Some observers also note that the EFF's growing influence could force the ruling African National Congress, ANC, to reconsider its position on land and economic reform to prevent further erosion of its support base. "This is more than rhetoric," said Professor Thabo Radebe, a political analyst at Wits University. "It's a high-stakes moment that could reshape the political landscape. As tensions rise and the world watches closely, South Africa now finds itself at a crossroads between the promises of its democratic past and the demands for economic justice in the present. Whether Malema's fiery declaration will lead to lasting change or deeper division remains to be seen.
No human rights. Black people cannot determine their own destination. They are waiting on the white supremacists to tell them which direction to take. What is this life we are living of being cowards? I'm not going to be silenced by threat of violence. I'm not going to be silenced by threat of death. When you say don't jail him, Ramaphosa should have said, in South Africa we don't jail people like that. There are courts in South Africa, and the courts have said there is nothing wrong with this song. This is not my song. I did not compose this song. I found this song. The struggle heroes composed this song. All I'm doing is to defend the legacy of our struggle. This is a heritage of our struggle. This is the song that was sung by Peter Mokaba in the presence of Chris Hani, in the presence of Winnie Mandela. And therefore, I will never stop singing a song that Winnie Mandela sang before she died. That will be a betrayal to the struggle of our people. Comrades, when they say stop singing, kill the poor, kill the farmer, they are going to say to you, stop demanding the land. Because you are offending white people, don't talk about the land. When you stop the land, they say black people must go back to Bantu education. There must be African schools. When you say no, they say no, that is not allowed. Today, a tender is given in White House without advertisement, where Rupert stands up and says, why is Elon Musk, Starlink, not given an opportunity in South Africa? Elon Musk's business cannot come to South Africa if it's not compliant with 30% BEE. What he did, Ramaphosa, after they asked him that, the following day, they issue out that they want to relax the BEE deals so that this Starlink can come into South Africa. There is no such a law in South Africa. That Starlink will not come into South Africa if it's not compliant with the BEE. We are not saying 30% must go to one individual. That 30% must go to black people, as many as possible, because we want to benefit from our own economy. Comrades, we must never be dictated to by business. I long told you, South Africa, that we are captured by Ruperts, that our country is run by Ruperts. How can a minister of international relations sit in a meeting? Oh, Malema. Marano is a good boy. He's a what is your problem? The whole Minister of International Relations goes and sits in a meeting that deals with international issues outside the country and never uttered a word. But businessmen, the golf players are speaking, but you, the politician, who's supposed to speak on those matters, you are quiet. Why do you still want to earn a salary after being quiet? Why can't we give this salary to those white people? Because they are the ones who are speaking there. All white people who were in that house from South Africa, all of them spoke. All of them, including John Steenhuisen. What gave them the ticket to speak on behalf of our country? It was their color. Only the color of their skin is the one that gave them permission to speak at the White House. Lamula was there. Chikumbutso was even worse. So why should we allow that? Comrades, this country will never be free as long as Ward 16 does not have clean water.
In a dramatic escalation of South Africa's political rhetoric, Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, leader Julius Malema has ignited controversy by calling for the immediate nationalization of land and key industries, drawing swift reactions from President Cyril Ramaphosa and even prompting a public rebuke from former U.S. President Donald Trump. Malema made the comments during a charged rally in Johannesburg, where he declared that South Africans must take back control of the country's natural resources without delay or compensation. Addressing thousands of enthusiastic supporters, he said, "The wealth of this country must serve its people, not a handful of elites or foreign interests. We will not wait any longer. Land expropriation without compensation must happen now." President Ramaphosa, who has advocated a more measured, constitutional approach to land reform, is said to be under growing pressure within the African National Congress, ANC, to respond to Malema's demands. While the presidency has not issued a formal statement, insiders suggest that Malema's comments are viewed as destabilizing and potentially harmful to South Africa's global image. Adding fuel to the fire, Donald Trump reacted to Malema's speech on his social media account, accusing him of promoting radical socialism and warning that South Africa was on the brink of disaster. Trump's post quickly gained international attention and reignited debates around land reform, race, and economic justice in South Africa. Malema dismissed Trump's remarks in characteristic fashion, calling the former U.S. president an irrelevant old man clinging to outdated ideas, and insisting that South Africans would not be dictated by foreign powers. Trump's opinion is not policy in Africa. Malema said, "We will determine our own future. We are not afraid." Reactions to the speech have varied sharply. Supporters of the EFF hailed the announcement as a bold step toward correcting the injustices of colonialism and apartheid, while critics, including business leaders and opposition parties, warn of economic collapse and social instability if such policies were implemented hastily or without proper safeguards. As the political fallout unfolds, analysts warn that Malema's aggressive stance could push the ANC to take a firmer line on land reform, especially with national elections on the horizon. For now, the country watches closely as its political leaders grapple with deep questions about ownership, justice, and the future direction of the nation. That's it from us at Voice of Africa News, your trusted source for stories that shape our continent. If you found this update valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Stay informed, stay connected, and be part of the conversation as we bring you the latest updates from every corner of Africa. Until next time, keep your voice strong and keep it African.